What is the number one secret to Christian business success? The answer is confidently and proudly vision. Vision, vision, vision. And why is that? So when I think of all the things that lead someone to success as a Christian entrepreneur, as a faith-based entrepreneur, someone in the marketplace who loves God and is building a business, it's vision. And how do I know that so confidently? Because we have coached thousands and thousands of people, and we find that when there is no vision, when someone does not know where they're going, the symptoms are they're stuck. Have you ever had that experience and that feeling in business where you're like, you know that there's something on the inside. You might know that God is calling you into something. You might know that you're being nudged, or it feels like this void where you're just like, gosh, I'm not settled at my job. I'm not settled in my career, or even in your business. And if you've ever had that experience and that feeling, to me, that's an indicator. It's a symptom. And the root of that is that there's something missing with your vision. And even if we go a step further, if we think about life and we think about business, we think about people where marriages start to fray, where businesses start to crumble, where when we lose sight of the vision of where we're going, things start to fall apart. And so, it's just so important, and I believe the number one secret to Christian business success is vision, because without it, we can end up in that place of uncertainty. We are overwhelmed, stuck, paralyzed with fear and options, analysis paralysis. So vision is so important. So now the question is, well, how do we clarify our vision, right? If that's the number one success principle and what we need to focus on as a Christian business owner, well, then it comes down to, how do we clarify our vision? How do we know that the vision that we have in our minds is what God has for us? So I'm going to break down a few different steps on things that you can do to clarify your God-given vision. And so I would say, before I jump into the steps, a foundation of this is that, and really a mindset, I want you to, in this moment, really just try this on. It's kind of like if you were to go to like Nordstrom's or Macy's, right? You can try something on, and you can always take it off, and you can even go and buy it, try it on, and you can come back and return it. So I want you to just take this and try this on in this moment. So the mindset I want you to try on is that God has given you gifts and talents, that God literally has an assignment and a purpose in your life. And if you think about that, that's bold. And sometimes people have a mindset that pops up and says, yeah, but why me? Look at my life. Like, I'm not qualified for whatever God has for me. So if we remove those fears of not being qualified, and we just try on this mindset of God literally has an assignment and a calling and a purpose in your life. And if you were to say, okay, I'm going to try that on. Well, how do I clarify it and figure it out? Well, God is going to leave clues. God has given you gifts and talents. So one thing that I'd love for you to do is take a piece of paper. Now, if you're not going to do it in this moment, maybe make a mental note to go do it, or even just in your mind and follow along. If you were to picture a cross, so picture a cross on a piece of paper. We call it the vision finder, purpose finder exercise. On one side of the cross, what I want you to write down is, what are you good at? Because would you agree that if you're really good at something and it comes natural to you, then it's probably something that is a gift that God gave you. You probably know somebody who is just so gifted or is so good at math. And maybe for you, when you're in elementary school, you're like, I just don't like math. But some people love math. Some people love technology and computers and this and that. Some people love video. Some people are like, I don't know how y'all do that, right? So we all have things that we're good at, things that we're gifted at. So if you were to write down on one side of the cross, what are you good at? What comes natural to you? Now, on the other side of the cross, what I want you to do is to write down, what are you passionate about? What lights you up? What's something that that you can't stop talking about? What's something that if you had won the lottery that you would do all the time, that you absolutely love? It's something that you're so passionate about. So again, you've got the cross with what are you good at? What are you passionate about? Now I want you to then connect the lines and to see, well, what am I good at? What am I passionate about? Where do they intersect? And why would we do this? It's because it helps raise awareness to your skills and your gifts. And I personally believe that When God has given you gifts, it's for a reason. He doesn't do anything by accident. Your entire life, even in your life story, the adversity that you've come through, the triumph that you've overcome, right? All the adversity, the mess that can be your message, all of these things, God has pulled you through for you to be here today. And so what I want you to do now is to think, all right, so I did the Purpose Finder exercise. Now to think, okay, if I'm going to apply this in a business context, so we think about vision, we think about what does God have for you. I'm going to give you a very simple exercise. It's called modeling. What I mean is that if you were to say, okay, I'm not sure, I know I want to be a Christian entrepreneur. I know, Nick, you're saying the number one, success principle as a Christian business owner is vision, but I still feel stuck and I'm not sure what to do or how to start my business. Then I want you to think about this exercise called modeling, which means who already has a business that you would love to go start. And so we have unlocked and unleashed so many entrepreneurs with this exercise. Because if they come to us, or you come to us, or you're here in this moment and you're thinking, I know I want to start this business, but I don't know what my vision is. I don't know where I'm going yet. Then I just say, I need you to point to something. Start there. Start there, which means who is already doing what you want to do, and I want you to point to it. Now, they might have a different personality. They might have different values than you. It's not about copying them either. This is about looking at the business model and saying, that's a business model, that's a business model. So you can model the person's business, and it gives you a roadmap. Success leaves clues. You can see, okay, well, they have a YouTube channel. Okay, they do coaching. So we love when people model Megan and I, and we teach people how to do what we do because, we want there to be thousands and millions of people that are coaches and that help other people live out their dreams and their God-given assignments. So you can model and point to somebody, and that's going to be the fast track to getting your vision off the ground. And so then the next thing is, okay, so if we've got, the Purpose Finder, we've got the modeling exercise. Now what can we do with vision? The next step is really going to be about thinking about what would you do, call it the lottery exercise. What would you do if money didn't matter? Because what happens when we're thinking about vision, what happens for most people is that they think, well, I would love to go do that, but, and I call them the yeah buts. Yeah, but Nick, you don't understand. I can't do that because, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm not qualified. Or yeah, but I don't have the money for it. Or yeah, but how is it going to pay for itself? And so what we do is we call it the lottery exercise, where imagine that if we remove money from the equation and that you literally won the lottery. Let's say you won $1 billion and you've traveled, you've given like crazy, but you have so much interest coming in, you never can spend it all. It's just impossible. So let me ask you, if you look at your Purpose Finder, you look at your gifts, you look at your passions, you look at who would you model as a business. Now we say you've got all the money you could ever need, so money's not part of the equation. What would you go do? What lights you up? What is God calling you to go do? What is the purpose of your life and the vision that God has for you? That's usually where people say, oh, light bulb goes on. That's usually the moment where people say, you know what? This is it. This is what I'm going to do. And that's what I want you to do right here, right now, is to think, if you won the lottery and you didn't have to work, what would your vision be? What would you go do? What would make an impact? What would serve God's kingdom? What would God look at you and be so proud about? So leverage those 3 steps and techniques to clarify your vision, put it into action, and go leverage the number one secret, the number one success principle as a Christian entrepreneur, vision. Go put those into action, pop in the comments, let me know that you did it, and I cannot wait to see you stepping into your greatest and best version of you to go build His kingdom.